Mile offshore, I can see the lamp in your hand, beckoning me. I say I need a safe place to land. Mile offshore, guess I'm home, my friend. Catch a full night of sleep again. I'm not going back out again, my friend. Hi, Linda. A mile offshore, what I say? A mile offshore, it looks like 73. So little has changed, this one pub village I see. The windows glisten, the hills are green. I hear your voice calling out to me. From here we both could be 17 again. I hear your mother and father are gone. They say I'm not the type you can depend upon. Looking in from this line of sight, I can only say your mother and father were right. Mile offshore, the dolphins dance by my hull, circling me through the lilting song of the gulls. No, that's what I've been sailing toward. When I tie down, you can climb aboard. For a little dance, it's a sweet reward to ourselves. For my long, clear history of selfish deeds, I come home with only apologies. There's no blame if you turn your back. To hell with that, you're out there waiting for me. Mile offshore, I can see the lamp in your hand, beckoning me. It's me a safe place to land. Mile offshore, guess I'm home, my friend. Catch a full night of sleep again. I'm not going back out again, my friend. Mile offshore, guess I'm home, my friend. Catch a full night of sleep again. I'm not going back out again, my friend. Mile offshore, I can see the lamp in your hand. Oh, 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 oh. Mile offshore, guess I found a soft place to land. Oh, 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 oh. Mile offshore, oh, oh, oh. Mile offshore, oh, oh, oh. Mile offshore, oh, oh, oh. Thank you, Linda. Mile offshore, and welcome to my music room for my dinner hour live stream for this week. It's early Labor Day, since I'm not going to be here next week. Next week I'll be at the new Johnston Town Center for their farmers market. Been doing the Johnston Farmers Market. This will be the third year, I think, and the last 2 years it was out in front of the library, in front of the Johnston barn, and now they've built this beautiful town center up on Merle Hay and 62nd Street, and it'll be out there unless for some reason that it doesn't happen, but that's what I'm planning on next Tuesday, so I won't be here. So there's a lot of things to talk about on Labor Day, about Labor Day, and about that time of the month and everything else. And so rather than talk about them next week, I'm going to talk about them today. And if you want a more timely report of it, you can just watch the replay of this live stream today, next week at this time. You can watch it anytime you want, actually, because my live streams are all saved on my music page until Facebook starts taking them down. I was saying over the weekend that that I got a message from Facebook saying that some of my last live streams have been blacked out or blocked out in certain regions of the world because it violates certain copyright laws, which I can't understand because there's nothing that I do in my live stream that didn't just come out of my head. I don't do any covers or anything like that. So either I'm ripping somebody off or somebody's ripping me off or whatever. But it came to a total of 42 seconds, I guess, of material, and they only did it in 47 different countries. I looked at the list, and it was like North Korea and Iran and Timor and a bunch of places like that. And you know, I've got about 70. Since I started streaming my music this year, I think there's about 70 countries that somebody has listened to my music in. None of them are on that list. So I don't really know what the story is, but if you're in China right now or Iran, expect that some of this will be blacked out. The other thing was earlier this afternoon when I did my little sound check, you know, I always go through a few songs and everything just to see how the levels are and everything. The Wi-Fi went out for a couple minutes, not a couple minutes, but for a few seconds. So I don't know if that'll happen tonight, but anyway. So if this was Labor Day, we'd be going from August into September. Squeeze me at dawn, squeeze me all day long. You squeeze a lot of us one September weekend. Let's use the autumn day to get out and get away. We've only got each other and another day to spare. Squeeze a lot of us into one September weekend. Who knows where we'll go as long as we're alone. Quarter mile past nowhere one September weekend, away from any storm, we'll keep each other warm, and hope the days last longer than they ever have before. Before Monday rears his head and leaves behind an empty room, an empty bed, with another day to spend, let's squeeze some more of us into one September weekend. One September weekend. One September weekend, which is coming up in 2 weeks, actually. 2 weeks till one September weekend. And actually, that's the weekend that, maybe not, the weekend before my Golden Jubilee at the XBK. So that's coming up in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This next one, it's gotten a lot of play for me this summer, and especially the last few weeks for various reasons. partially because at different points during the summer, I've been involved in the release of my book, Baby Pictures, My Year on the Road with Baby Lester and the Buggy Pumpers. First came out in the ebook format and Kindle on June 17th. I played at Chocolate Lottery Stam that night. And then last Friday, on the 19th of August, it came out in hardcover print version, which actually was already available because some people, including Linda and Rick, they already had their copy. And now they've got a signed copy of it. But, well, I've been, dealing with that. And then, as you know, in addition to that, while all this is going on, Baby Lester passed away, the subject of the book. And so, very dramatic summer when it comes to the book. And by the way, if you want the book, just the best thing to do is just go to the B. John Burns author website. I think if you just Google B. John Burns author, there's links where you can go to order the book. If you want the hardcover book, you can get it from Barnes & Noble. You can get it from Amazon. I suggest going to Book Baby Bookshop because the people that have bought them have had very good experience in getting them, and they've gotten them within 5 days, I think, and I get a bigger royalty too, so do it that way. If you want the ebook, just if you've got the Amazon Kindle, just go to Amazon and get it through them. Because I want Amazon to like me. But anyway, after saying all that, there's a reason why I'm going to play this song again today, and it's because this song was a song I'd written, as you've heard me say over and over and over again. 3 months after Baby Lester was my best man at my wedding back in 1990, Donna, his wife, our bass player, called me up and asked me if I could come to Omaha for a surprise birthday party for Baby Lester, 40th birthday party. So I went, wrote this song for the event. That was 30 years ago today. Tomorrow is Baby Lester's 32 years ago, because tomorrow would have been Baby Lester's 72nd birthday. So I'm going to play this song for Baby Lester on his first birthday in heaven. I got a call on a hot August day. This must be my orders to ride. There was silence, then I heard a sigh. In a voice so uncharacteristically sad, he said our luck was always so bad. After we said our goodbyes, we swore on a pact. When Baby Lester turns 40, there'll be a hell of a party. We'll both be losing our hair. We'll have money to spare. We'll be all settled down. When Baby Lester turns 40, we'll tell some hellacious stories about our life on the road all the long years ago, where I rode out of town. In the 10 years that followed, we both finished school, both started families and jobs. And the glorious stories I told, Baby Lester was gone. If I'd call you and ask why it ended so fast, you say don't try to relive the past. But as long as these fingers can play, that memory will last. When Baby Lester turns 40, there'll be a hell of a party. We'll both be losing our hair. We'll have money to spare. We'll be all settled down. Baby Lester turns 40, we'll tell some hellacious stories about our life on the road all the long years ago, so I rode out of town. Now we all drink a beer on a hot August day. Then we break out the guitars. That's how we remember just who we are. I smile and imagine we're up on a stage in Texas, Ohio, or here. We built us a bridge back over the hose years. When baby Lester turns 40, there'll be a hell of a party. We'll both be losing our hair. We'll have money to spare. We'll be all settled down. When baby Lester turns 40, we'll tell some hellacious stories about our life on the road all the long years ago, before I rode out of town. When baby Lester turns 40, there'll be a hell of a party. We'll both be losing our hair. We'll have money to spare. We'll be all settled down. When baby Lester turns 40, we'll tell some hellacious stories about our life on the road all the long years ago, before I rode out of town. When baby Lester turns 40, 32 years ago tomorrow. Happy birthday, baby Lester. 45 years ago last Friday, got the call from baby Lester saying the band was over with. And so the story is basically set, and now it's available to all of you in hardcover format or in Kindle. And order your book. So, coming on to Memorial Labor Day weekend. Here's a song I wrote, and again, it's 2 weeks from Labor Day weekend, but this is my Labor Day weekend show. And here's a song I wrote on Labor Day weekend. It's relevant for several reasons. One of the things that I kind of stress on Labor Day weekend is kind of my dysfunctional relationship with the 9-to-5 world, my 35 years working a job, basically, and how I sometimes was something of a square peg, actually. But anyway, 3 years ago this weekend, that came to an end, just coming right up to the Thursday before Labor Day. And I just rode off into the sunset. I did my Freedom Tour. I drove up to Winona, Minnesota, played at a nice coffee shop up there where I've played, I think, 3 times already. And then went down to Elkader, Iowa, which I had spent a night in before, played at a brewery in Elkader, Iowa. And I got done, and, on one side of it, before I left, I was a working man. I had a day job. I had to work 8 to 5 or at the least. And then on the other end, I finally had my freedom after 35 years. And so I spent the night in Elkader in jail, basically. And that's one of the reasons I call it my Freedom Tour. I'd been there before. If you ever go to Elkader, and I don't know if it's true because the people that owned it have sold it since then, but the old Elkader County, the Elkader jail, up on a hill, a bluff overlooking the river, basically is no longer the jail. They moved the jail to one of those fancy Morton buildings they now use for jails everywhere. And the couple bought the old jail, beautiful building, and turned it into a bed and breakfast. So I had stayed there once before on business, and I decided since I was playing in Elkader during my Freedom Tour, I'd spend my last night of the Freedom Tour in jail. So I played my show and went to bed, beautiful bed, in I think it was the warden's suite up above on the top level, and then woke up about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had the room until noon, and I thought, well, I'm just not going to just drive away from this. I went out on the little balcony outside the suite I was staying in, took my Martin guitar out there with me, and wrote my first song in Freedom. And I called it First Day of Spring. Now, by then, that was September 1st. And I called it First Day of Spring. Little did I know, if I had been in the southern hemisphere, in the tropics, anything below the tropic, the tropic of Cancer, I guess it is, or above, I guess, in the southern hemisphere. The 1st of September is the first day of spring. You know, for us it's late September, but you know, for fall, and then spring in the southern hemisphere. But if you're in the tropics, the first day of spring is September 1st in the southern hemisphere. So anyway, this is the song I wrote on. If you would have told me just a year ago where this road would go, maybe I would have turned off then. Or maybe it's one thing that it's just as well to learn myself. You get to the same place in the end. It's like the first day of spring. I finally know the reason for everything. Wave goodbye to expectations, no idea what it is, where the finish line would be. It's been years since I've known sanity. It's like the first day of spring. I gotta feel the hatchets for burying. Laid awake for 1,000 reasons to block my view of the sun. I cannot remember one. I've got something here for everyone. If you would have told me just a year ago where this road would go, maybe I would have turned off then. Or maybe it's one thing that it's just as well to learn myself. You get to the same place in the end. It's like the first day of spring. I got a new perspective on everything. They say what don't kill me just makes me stronger. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's something I can prove. It's another thing I have to do on the first day of spring. It's like the first day of spring. It's like the first day of spring. First day of spring. September 1st, 2019. And I won't go through it again, but it was, in certain parts of the world, it was the first day of spring. And actually, it was a place where some of the places where it was the first day of spring are places where I actually had been 2 years earlier. In September. But I don't know if I was there September 1st. I don't think I was quite there yet September 1st. Back on my trips to Africa, back when I had the day job. And down the same line as that, about my romance with having the day job, I came up with this. Thursday now, thinking we can sail. Thursday, baby. Took 4 days to grab that cheetah by the tail. We'll be going through the motions for 24 more hours. Thursday now, and I'm running low on power. They pay me for 5 days, but they're lucky to get 3. They pay me for 5 days, but they're lucky to get 3. They should have seen that coming the day they hired me. Don't call me a cheating man, I just got priorities. I'm not a cheating man, I just got priorities. These rules you say you live by, they don't all apply to me. It's Thursday now, and I'm thinking we can sail. Thursday, baby, took 4 days to grab that cheetah by the tail. We'll be going through the motions for 24 more hours. It's Thursday now, and I'm running low on power. You can join me, or you can be the man. You can walk out with me, or you can be the man. It's a pretty quick decision, but you've got to take a stand. It's Thursday now, and I'm thinking we can sail. Thursday, baby, took 4 days to grab that cheetah by the tail. We'll be going through the motions for 24 more hours. Thursday now, and I'm running low on power. Oh, Thursday now, and I'm thinking we can sail. Thursday, baby, took 4 days to grab that cheetah by the tail. We'll be going through the motions for 24 more hours. Thursday now, and I'm running low on power. Thursday now. It seems like every one of my, buried somewhere in every one of my CDs, my albums, you know, there was some song about, you know, me trying to make it through the workday, you know, trying to do the 40 as Rick Berker called it, the day job and everything. And that was one of them. This next one's one too. There's another one. I think Rick and Linda were there when I played it the first time and didn't play it too much. For one thing, I don't always play it too well, but I think I may have played it last week too, so maybe it'll get better the more I play it. I'm not really know where I'm starting this. I'm going to do this other song, and then I'm going to come back to that one when I can figure out how that one goes. Okay, here we go. I clock in at 7:10. Boss says, Jack, you're late again. I say, you can suck my you-know-what. I used to get away with shit like that. Now I'm taking classes, don't know why I chose the battles that I fought. I don't know why I chose the battles that I fought. I think I could have made a dent, could have made vice president, or could have gave diplomacy a shot. Now I'm here to dig another hole, I never get no passes. I'm still paying for the battles that I fought. I'm still paying for the battles that I fought. Stand up for yourself, they say. I've been standing every day as I watch my future melt away. Stand up for yourself, they say. I've been standing every day as I watch my future melt away. I clock in at 7:10. Boss says, Jack, you're late again. I say, you can suck my you-know-what. I used to get away with shit like that. Now I'm taking classes, don't know why I chose the battles that I fought. I don't know why I chose the battles that I fought. I don't know why I chose the battles. I'm not even in the saddle. I don't know why I chose the battles that I fought. I don't know why I chose the battles that I fought. I was always getting in some kind of trouble somewhere with somebody. Let's see what people are saying now. Getting some comments. They're going to say, don't ever play that one again. Yeah, we definitely heard that one. You were there. You know, I premiered that one at Palak's Gallery and Studio one night, and well, you know, it was one that I really wasn't getting it that well, finding a way to play it. It's actually becoming easier to play now. Now this next one, get off that subject for a little bit, and something else that's another thing that's coming up, and I think it's the 31st of this month. 25 years since this woman passed away, and she's got her kids. Her kids are still out there, and you know the story and everything. 25 years ago, the 31st. Prince Harry and the better half went out, traded in the Cadillac, bought a condo on the cul-de-sac, got 30 years to pay it down. Disillusioned with the palace life, says, I don't like the way they treat my wife. I tried to take it, but I'm not the type. So Dad, I'm handing in the crown. The Queen is telling me, think this out. The Queen should know what this is all about. I watched the way she pushed my mama out. That will not fly this time around. The Queen should know that I am not my dad. I'm just like Mama. I guess that's bad, and if she don't like it, she can just stay mad, 'cause I'm not backing down. The Queen is telling me you gotta earn. If you're a commoner, you're gonna learn. That is, Your Majesty, a true concern, but it's not your business now. The Queen is telling me, watch your mouth. It's my decision what I care about. You're my subject, and you won't act out in the presence of the crown. The prince just snorted and he flew the nest. Now Vancouver is the new address. The Queen of England is a real hot mess. Diana wins another round. Diana wins another round. Diana wins another round. 25 years ago. You know, there are people that, you know, that I played this song for over the last weekend who weren't even alive when that happened. 25 years ago she passed away, and they're still talking about it. I don't know if is it on Netflix, the new documentary, or Amazon Prime? No, it's on HBO, the new documentary about Princess Diana. Not as flattering as some of the others, actually, but you know, not as sympathetic to her as some of the others. So you might want to, if you're interested in that sort of thing, even vaguely, you might want to watch it. The one that I watched that I was more interested in was the Woodstock 99. I had an opportunity to be at Hinterland a couple weeks ago and actually, not on the stage or anything, but play my guitar out there. And Woodstock 99 at the beginning reminded me a lot of Hinterland. Hinterland, it ended differently. So back to my theme of again my fractured love affair with work life and everything that ended 3 years ago. This coming week or Memorial or Labor Day weekend. Anyway, this one a lot of, as I say, there's a song like this on all of my albums pretty much up until 3 years ago. 40 years ago, he told me, John, you need something you can fall back on. I fell back to save my life. 40 years slipped by. I wake up at 5 and look around. Stretch these old man's legs and hit the ground. It's the last hour of the day, and we finally get to play. I got my fallback job, got these quiet nights with my fallback friends in my fallback town. I sold out and sold for my fallback life. I sold out and sold for my fallback life. Any soul who fell short of a dream ought to sit, share a drink with me. We hit the roadblocks in our lives, but Jesus knows I tried. I got my fallback job, got these quiet nights with my fallback friends in my fallback town. I sold out and sold for my fallback life. I sold out and sold for my fallback life. The lifeline I'm still clinging to today. The one time that I'm still alive is standing on some stage at night when there's someone there to hear the songs I play. I do my fallback job, got these quiet nights with my fallback friends in my fallback town. I sold out and settled for my fallback life. I sold out and settled for my fallback life. I sold out and settled for my fallback life. My fallback life. Every musician, not every musician, but the great majority of musicians have a fallback life. That there's just a handful that can actually feed themselves completely off of doing this. I did for a couple of years, or for a year maybe, and that was it. I'm 66. So 1 year I probably supported myself. And the rest of it, I've been getting my money from other sources, all legal, but other sources nevertheless. This one has to do with the fact that football season starts for some starts this weekend. For everybody else, it starts Labor Day weekend. And this song was actually written, as you know, because you've heard it. This song was actually written during the first game of a season. You know, they always schedule, the big teams like the Hawkeyes schedule usually some non-conference game, and it's usually somebody they can beat easily for their first game of the season. And that particular year, I think it was Syracuse or somebody, and they were ranked like 1,250th in the country, and Iowa was in the top 25 and everything. And everybody's like, why are you playing this team? Why are you wasting your time? Why don't you just schedule a high school team or something and play them? But I watched the game. I watched the Hawkeyes, you know, and I like to see them win. So if there's an easy win, I'll be there. I'll watch it. I'm watching this game, and against this unranked, you know, team, unheralded team from somewhere in the Northeast, and they get through the game, and it's a long game, and at the end of regulation time, it's 0-0. 0-0. Neither team scored a point. Iowa couldn't manage to score a point against this team. And so, you know, I had other things to do, so I went up and got my Martin D15, that all mahogany Martin that I play out a lot. It was basically my basic Martin, and got some strings, and I restrung it. while they're in the overtime, while the overtime's going on, so I have something to do at least. And I got done stringing the guitar, and the game's still going on. It's still 0-0. So I wrote this song, and I managed to get this whole song written before Iowa managed to catch a field goal or something and ultimately win the game. But anyway, this is a song that came out of that. I'm used to coming from behind. I'm used to being in the hole. The underdog of love is my familiar role. Once again, I'm on the ground. On my back, I'm seeing stars. It tells me how good you are. It's 4th and 2. What do? My self-talk says punt, but I cannot punt on you. 4th and 2. What do? My self-talk says punt, but I cannot punt on you. I see the clock is running down. You say it's time to take a knee. You should know by now that doesn't set with me, 'cause I know how to take a hit. I can always run it off, and I know how to use the clock. It's 4th and 2. What do? My self-talk says punt, but I cannot punt on you. 4th and 2. What do? Self-talk says punt, but I cannot punt on you. Straight through the uprights we'll sail. When I suit up, I never fail. I sail through the uprights with you. It's 4th and 2. What do? My self-talk says punt, but I cannot punt on you. 4th and 2. What do? My self-talk says punt, but I cannot punt on you. Sometime around the turn of the century, I wrote that song. I think maybe 2006, maybe something like that, I wrote the song. And the one thing I remember about is I was playing that gig at Kramer Books and Afterwards Cafe up in Washington, D.C., that went from 10 at night to 2 in the morning, and I pulled that one out and played it, and I told him, you know, there's a long story that goes with that song, story you just heard, and I said I'm not gonna bore you with the story, and actually the people that were sitting there in the cafe made me tell them the story, so I don't know what they felt about it after they heard it. Anyway, so back on the subject of you know, having to work for a living instead of doing this with my life. Here's one of the first ones I wrote, actually, when I managed to score that last job that I had. Everybody's telling me, you know, boy, you're lucky to get that. A lot more money than I was getting doing the other job, and a lot of resources, and everybody's telling me what a great thing it was. And this is like the first thing that came out. People just assume that because I go to bed with you, it's worth the things you put me through. That's not really true. See, once before I sold my soul, thought if I could only play that role, that would be my song goal. Well, that's what I would do. Well, one man's heaven is another's Armageddon. There's a big expensive wedding, then a bumpy gravel road. With no remorse, I made the trade for things that time would take away. I stood right on top the day that I hooked up with you. Well, one man's heaven is another's Armageddon. There's a big expensive wedding, then a bumpy gravel road. People still congratulate me, I accept it graciously. They don't need to see the things that they don't know. A lot of people just assume that because I go to bed with you, it's worth the things you put me through. Well, that's not really true. Whoa, 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 One man's heaven is another's Armageddon. I actually played that one up in Marshalltown at the Coliseum. There was one night, a couple of these events, but the first one where they just had a whole night of music. This woman organized this whole music festival that went on from the afternoon, and I was the last one to play, and I think I came out and played that like 2 o'clock in the morning, right after I wrote it. So many, many, many years ago. Probably right around the turn of the century. I had my D15 then, so I did have that. So it was probably about 2015, 25, because that's when I really started doing the solo thing. This one, relevant for a couple of reasons, but partially for that reason. The other thing is, starting tomorrow for about 3 days, Des Moines is going to be graced at the Des Moines Civic Center with the what they call, what do they call it? What's her name? Kill a Mockingbird. The woman that wrote it. They keep putting her name in there as if this was the actual To Kill a Mockingbird and everything. They hire Aaron Sorkin to come in and rewrite the whole thing. I think that's just a sacrilege. That's a sacrilege. But anyway, it's coming to Des Moines tomorrow, and it's going to be here for a few days. And a lot of people say they like it. It was Jeff Daniels played it in Broadway, and now it's John Boy Walton's going to play it. And I'm playing Farmers Market this Saturday, so maybe John Boy Walton will come by and I can play this for him. I was 9 years old. My daddy brought home this black and white movie. There's the man you want to be. Just forget about Springsteen. Guess I watched it 21 times. It didn't change my mind. Atticus, Atticus, I want to be a rock star. Just want to strum on that guitar. What does it take to flunk the bar? Atticus, Atticus, I want to be a rock star. When I was 25 and set out to be the man in the movie, make the whole world proud of me, but that wasn't my dream. Looking for a place to get off, but this bus doesn't stop. Atticus, Atticus, I wanna be a rock star. Just wanna strum on that guitar. What does it take to flunk the bar? Atticus, Atticus, I wanna be a rock star. Like a mangy little dog staggering down a gravel road. Good scout, come take me home. Where did your daddy go? Atticus, Atticus, I wanna be a rock star. Just wanna strum on that guitar. What does it take to flunk the bar? Atticus, Atticus, I wanna be a rock star. Atticus, Schmaticus. So John Boy Walton comes walking by at Farmer's Market. I'll pull him aside and see if I can get him to listen to that song, you know. But who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird? You know. Thank you, Linda. That's in my mind, you know. I know that. I know the answer to that. Harper Lee. It says, all the advertising says Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, but it's not. It's Aaron Sorkin's To Kill a Mockingbird. Write your own damn play. You know, don't take somebody else's and make it yours. But I don't know. Maybe people will like it. The next thing I imagine they'll probably make it into a musical. You know, they turn everything into a musical now. Why can't they come up with something new and original for musicals like that? Hamilton. You know, they didn't steal somebody else's play. They wrote their own play. That guy writes his own plays. You know, but maybe he'll do To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't know. Crazy world we live in. 3 years ago today, this week, or at least a week of Labor Day, I didn't call it retirement because it's really just returning me to my natural habitat is what it was. It wasn't retirement. And I'm working harder now than I did back then, basically. But name of my album that year was a form letter from a retired prostitute. And this is that song. I got a letter from my hooker yesterday saying, "Dear John, I'm on the road to Santa Fe. I'm tired and I'm sore, can't do it anymore." I could tell it was a form. Got this letter from my hooker in my hands saying, "Dear John, give me a reference if you can. I could proofread what you write. I can even learn to type. Hell, I can work clear through the night. This decision I'm making, my poor heart is breaking, but I really love working for you. I do. But when you hit 47, you know you're through. Got this letter from my hooker yesterday saying, "Dear John, I got so many bills to pay. Take a look around, there's younger girls downtown. They're expensive, but they're worth it pound for pound. This decision I'm making, my poor heart is breaking, but I really love working for you. I do. But when you hit 47, you know you're through. Tired and I'm sore, can't do it anymore. I could tell it was a form. Got this letter from my hooker yesterday. Got this letter from my hooker yesterday. Got this letter from my hooker yesterday." Form letter from a retired prostitute. I mean, you know, I just started thinking, you know, it was one of the first songs I wrote when I had my freedom back, and I was just sitting here thinking, you know, if a prostitute wrote a letter to one of her or his clients, how would it begin? It'd be, "Dear John," right? So that's where the idea for that song came from. Came right out of my head. Unless I stole it from somebody, and maybe that's why I'm getting banned in 47 countries. In Timor and North Korea and Iran. I was hoping to do an Iran tour at some point. This one's relevant because what I wrote about actually happened on Labor Day. At least when I started writing about it. You've heard the story behind this song, actually. You know, basically the song started out being about the arrival of the pelicans. You know, twice a year in the fall and in the spring, we get the big pelicans show up, and they land at Saylorville, and they're there for about 3 days, and then they go away. And I first noticed it just before I decided to run the Des Moines Marathon 18 years ago. And what made me decide, I decided to run up that day, run up to the Saylorville Dam and run back, which is like a 10-mile loop or something from here and everything. And I got to Saylorville, and I decided, hell, why don't I run all the way up to the mile-long bridge, cross it, come around, and loop Saylorville, and that's about a marathon. See if I can do it. So I'm running up Beaver Avenue, and all of a sudden it's noontime, and it was Labor Day. All of a sudden it's noontime, and the sky gets completely dark, and it's not bad weather. There's no chance of rain or anything. And I look up, and the sky is full of pelicans, white pelicans and everything. And then as I loop around, and I come down through past Polk City and everything, and I'm coming down the other end, I look in the lake, and the lake is just full of white pelicans. They're like the largest birds that you'll see here in the United States, you know, outside of the California condors and everything. But anyway, so, you know, it was one day I sat down to write a song, and as I often do, as I always do, and started writing about the white pelicans. And then very quickly, the song kind of morphed into something else. Flocks of white pelicans darken the sky, touch down on the reservoir a week at a time. Got no idea where the white birds have been, but first week in April they'll fly back again. The first time I learned that my dad was alive, he crashed in my place for a very brief night and told thousands of tales, one for each fading scar. Park benches, barracks, and jails, they are what they are. He shows up at my door with a half ounce of weed. I say no thanks, you're a stranger to me. I tell the world that we lost you in Nam. He says if that's what you're saying, it wouldn't be wrong. Well, I'm not a plant in the gardens of stone, just a stray pair of dog tags, never sent home, he told. Thousands of tales, one for each fading scar. Park benches, barracks, jails, they are what they are. He told thousands of tales, one for each fading scar. Park benches, barracks, jails, they are what they are. We got the flocks of white pelicans twice every year. They're not inclined to be settling here. My father passed back here in spring '89. Today I don't know if he's dead or alive. He told thousands of tales of the storms he passed through. I don't know how many are true. Flocks of white pelicans. And this next one's pretty much right on point. All the questions when I walk through that door. Sometimes I wish I don't come home anymore. If you are an old Ward Cleaver doll, that's not what I'm here for. You got no conception what goes on out there. I make it to the office, they just kick me down the stairs. I don't turn down the paycheck, so I guess it's only fair. Why do I act like I do? May have something to do that I'm in this profession. It's still number one in despair and depression. Drinking, home, marijuana possession. I don't expect understanding from you, that's why I do what I do. This road is littered with weaker fools than me. They hang out a shingle and they go down quietly. My career objective is a way to wriggle free. Why do I act like I do? May have something to do that I'm in this profession. It's still number one in despair and depression. Drinking, home, marijuana possession. I don't expect understanding from you, that's why I do what I do. I chose this life. I'm not bitter, and I don't put up a fight. Well, I'm not blaming anyone, cause yes, I chose this life. Why do I act like I do? May have something to do that I'm in this profession. It's still number one in despair and depression. Drinking, home, marijuana possession. I don't expect understanding from you, that's why I do what I do. Why do I act like I do? May have something to do that I'm in this profession. It's still number one in despair and depression. Drinking, home, marijuana possession. I don't expect understanding from you, that's why I do what I do. Why do I act like I do? May have something to do that I'm in this profession. It's still number one in despair and depression. Drinking, home, marijuana possession. I don't expect understanding from you, that's why I do what I do. Yeah, you know, I used to give a lot of, and I still do actually, they still have me do it, a lot of CLE, continuing education talks, you know, at the seminars and everything. And for whatever reason, they always saw it fit to put that U. O'Grady guy up, either before me or after me. You know, there'd be a 3-day seminar, and U. O'Grady would actually either be before me or after me. He's the guy that goes out and helps the lawyers that have emotional issues and substance abuse issues and stuff like that, people that can't handle their job. So for whatever reason, they always thought it was important to have him either before I spoke or after I spoke, and that song kind of came out of that. I suppose this one's related. Wait a minute, is this indignation I sense in you? I'll admit I'll say anything I have to say, do anything I have to do. I know the game. You and me, you know, we're both the same. Everybody lies on their resume. No one wants to be who they are. If you want the truth from me, I want to see you show a little honesty, 'cause everybody lies on their resume. Even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody lies on their resume. Even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. No one pays a second notice to every man. Does that mean if I can't knock you off your feet, I'm just supposed to understand? I know the game. You can't tell me that's the way it's played. Everybody lies on their resume. No one wants to be who they are. If you want the truth from me, I want to see you show a little honesty, 'cause everybody lies on their resume. Even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody lies on their resume. Even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. You'll believe when I seize the moment to dazzle you. It ain't right when a virgin or a neophyte is not allowed to prove that I've paid my dues. You close the door on me, you also lose. Everybody lies on their resume. No one wants to be who they are. If you want the truth from me, I want to see you show a little honesty, 'cause everybody lies on their resume, even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody lies on their resume, even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody lies on their resume, even you do, babe. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody lies on their resume, even you do, babe. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Everybody lies on their resume. This next one, I actually played it last week at the Taco Stamp, so you heard it there. I don't know if I did it in my live stream, but I played at the fair last week, and 7 years ago, last Friday, the day I played at Taco Stamp, my nephew was born, and I was playing at the state fair the next morning, and we knew my niece was just minutes and hours away from having her baby. And so I was up here in the music room at 10 o'clock at night. I worked all day. I knew I was going to have to get up in the morning and play at the fair. And still trying to write a song that night and before I went to bed. And all of a sudden, at about 10:30, I think, late at night, I got the news that Steffi had the baby, Nathan Asher, little boy, Nathan Asher. So I wrote this little song for Nathan Asher, and then did what I could to memorize it. And then the next morning, 11 hours later, I was out at the state fair, and I played it. That's probably the quickest I ever wrote and played a song from memory. Last week, for Nathan Asher, he and his brother were here in Iowa, and I played the video of me doing it at the state fair. It was a little longer because I didn't have it completely memorized, so I went through it twice actually at the state fair, so I could get the memory right. But anyway, this is that song, which I wrote 7 years ago last weekend for my nephew, basically the moment that he was born. Nathan Asher's already here. 4 days early, but we got no beer. Uncle Andy's at the fair, I hear. Nathan Asher's in the house. Nathan Asher's in the house. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Nathan Asher's in the house. Wrote it, played it at the state fair 11 hours later, less than 11 hours later, from memory. Not a long song to memorize. I wasn't quite the age that I am now, so it helps. So coming into September, and so much of my focus this year has been on September, because September is my golden jubilee. It was 50 years ago. You're going to hear this song a few times in September. 50 years ago, before that, I couldn't figure out how people came up with original songs. They came up with their own lyrics. They came up with their own, especially melodies and chord progressions and everything. How do they do it? It's just alchemy. It's alchemy. There's no way to do it. And then one afternoon in September, I came home to my mom and dad's house, went down to the basement to my mother's Cable Nelson piano, and sat down and wrote this song. And my first song, 50 years ago. Alone in an airport, by another magazine, moving through a crowded lobby, fighting people feeling me. Last time I was sleeping. It's too morning to go. All I remember is a song for how I got here, I don't know. Don't know why I came here, liked it better where I was. Mister, get me out of this airport, get me back to my love. Don't know why I came here, liked it better where I was. Mister, get me out of this airport, get me back to my love. All alone in an airport, buy another magazine, moving through a crowded lobby, fighting people feeling me. Then 21 years ago, in September, I woke up and this song was in my head. One of the only two songs I ever wrote that came to me in a dream 3 days after September 11th. I had a dream that I was falling from the sky. I whipped out the cell phone, told my love goodbye. Before I hit bottom, I woke up in my bed. Why can't I drive these demons from my head? These demons. I don't know if I did this last week in my dinner hour live stream, but I did play the fair last week on a day after my dinner hour live stream. And I played this I did 2 shows, and mostly I played different songs to the 2 shows. There were a few I played for both, including this one, which is my State Fair theme song, so I'm going to play it now. I always ask the fairgoers, I say, you know, what's the most remarkable thing about the fair? You know, and some of them, of course, I can't hear the responses. I can't hear if you're standing right across from me and everything. But you know, some of them will say the funnel cakes. You know, some of them will say the corn dogs. Some of them will say that big pig that just lays on its side all the time and doesn't budge, and you wonder if he's alive or dead. And I'm not saying what's the best thing at the fair. I'm saying what's the most remarkable thing. And I don't know if it's there anymore, but it was that Bobo, that dunk tank guy, in my mind, that character that, you know, just say the nastiest things to people and get away with it. Really nasty stuff. He'd go after their physical, you know, stuff like that. He'd criticize them, attack them and all that. Try to get them so mad that they want to drop $5 on 4 baseballs, and so mad that they couldn't throw straight. Anyway, you know, I wondered what it would be like to have a job that nobody really wants to hear what you got to say, that you're pissing people off all the time, and nobody likes you. Then it occurred to me, well, I had that job for 35 years. I watch her blazer disappear and take my shower, I can drag it out for just so long. It's goofing half an hour. What if I didn't make the call? I doubt they'd notice. Could apply down at the principal. I could take a class on Lotus. Why should I think that what I do has any meaning? Should I believe that destiny would truly stick me here? There's gotta be a better way to feed the family than to climb into the dunk tank, hurling insults at the strangers, each one out to drown me. It's the life of constant danger as I climb into the dunk tank. Yes, I climb into the dunk tank. They got this net to keep me safe, but I can tell you that I've been knocked unconscious, and it hurts you more than helps you. I know they say it's all in fun, but there are people who step up with a 50 and a fastball that is lethal. And when they look across at me, they see their bosses, their domineering mothers, their girlfriends, and their wives. There's gotta be a better way to feed the family than to climb into the dunk tank, hurling insults at the strangers, each one out to drown me. It's a life of constant danger as I climb into the dunk tank. Yes, I climb into the dunk tank. Mr. Barnum sent me to the office counselor, where I saw 100 ink spots, and I told him what they were. He explained how awful this community would be with its tensions and frustrations if there was no one like me. It's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life. There's gotta be a better way to feed the family than to climb into the dunk tank, hurling insults at the strangers, each one out to drown me. It's a life of constant danger as I climb into the dunk tank. There's gotta be a better way into the dunk tank. There's gotta be a better way into the dunk tank. There's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be a better way. There's got to be a better way than to climb into the dunk tank. Really. Got to be a better way. My State Fair theme song. And this one, because it's about off my new album, off of Mile Offshore. And it mentions September. Satisfying run when the consequences come. We severed ties, I rode off into the sun. Couldn't be a better day than that one for goodbye. Seems like it's been raining all September. I'm so ready for a quick change in the weather. I'd love to walk outside. Seems like I get rained on every night, thinking that's the price. made sense, but it was wrong. I knew it all along. When the north wind blows, we can't keep hanging on. It's not an object of rare beauty, it's a lie. Seems like it's been raining all September. I'm so ready for a quick change in the weather. I'd love to walk outside. Seems like I get rained on every night. Thinking that's the price. Take a look at me the moment I stop paying. I'm not out to make a sacrifice. Thinking that's the price. Seems like it's been raining all September. I'm so ready for a quick change in the weather. I'd love to walk outside. Seems like I get rained on every night. Thinking that's the price. Thinking that's the price. And it mentioned September, and so I worked it in. Two more songs. This next one's going to sound a little like that one, if I get it out now. This is the first time I played this song. I was tempted to do it at Chocolate Stand last Friday, and I decided, no, I better not. You know how it is with me and new songs. But anyway, here's a brand new one, see how it works. And the idea for this one, actually, a waitress in one of the restaurants that I go to was on the social media and had a lot of difficulties lately and everything. And she's an artist. She does different things, artistic things, and a few weeks back made the statement that you know what, I'm ready to get moving again. It's time to turn the heartache into art. And I thought, well, that's a song. You choose to wallow now. I get it, 'cause you're working through lost ground. And you're just not inspired to address it for a while. This time it comes back slow. For some reason, you're not ready to let it go. Till you put up one morning and you finally made it home. There's no point in wrestling the forces that pulled you apart. The brush is laid out on the writing desk. It's time to turn the heartache into art. Some use for what you've learned at the outset when you're thinking you won't get burned. Then 10 minutes later when it takes that ugly turn, weren't prepared at all. Rip off your glasses and admit it's your own damn fault. And if there's a lesson, it's just never get involved. There's no point in wrestling the forces that pulled you apart. The brush is laid out on the writing desk. It's time to turn the heartache into art. Turning something so dark into an object of beauty becomes your reason to tear. It's your prayer, it's your duty, you're not reading for the part. There's no point in wrestling the forces that pulled you apart. The brush is laid out on the writing desk. It's time to turn the heartache into art. Time to turn the heartache into art. Hi, Tom. Yeah, that's very rarely do I actually hit it on the first try, but I pretty much got through that one almost all the way through that one, so good day for that. And that brings me to my, thank you, Linda. That brings me to my very last song. You know what it's going to be. And so thank you for listening tonight. For anybody who's listened, anybody who's going to listen. And as I say, no dinner hour live stream next week, as long as I'm still playing at the Johnston Farmers Market. And then I'll be back 2 weeks after Labor Day. And this week I'll be at the, I got a private thing on Friday. Saturday morning I got Des Moines Farmers Market. At the Johnston Farmers Market on Tuesday. And then there's nothing until XBK, September 11th, never forget. XBK on 24th Street, and 3:30 to 5:10, and my Golden Jubilee, 50 years as a songwriter, and we'll see how that works out. Thank you, Linda. I've been doing this for all of my life. It's the one thing I know. And it's brought me to a few hidden corners of the globe. Now I'm sailing into that stage in life. Started taking it slow. But I still dream the dream. Doubt I'll ever let it go. We'll play where I can play. Some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here. If you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hands. On a little bench on 2nd and Grand sits a man with a horn. He's been playing there since almost a year I was born. And it used to be a joke with my friends. I would wind up like him. Now I see him and I realize how lucky he's been. I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here. If you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hands. It's not the best thing for my health. I'm not acquiring great wealth, but I go on because I owe it to myself. I'm not reaching for the stars. Things will stay the way they are, but I keep plugging, so I may never get this far. I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here. If you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hands. I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here. If you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hand. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Have a nice rest of the week.